Tonight, the unemployment rate soars above 9%. For teens, it's 2.5 times as high. But there are signs better times may be coming. I'm Jeff Glor. Also tonight, the president at the Nazi concentration camp Buchenwald.
I will not forget what I have seen here today.
A day of remembrance and dedication. In America, land of plenty, millions of children are not getting enough food.
I cry.
Why do you cry?
Because I'm hungry.
Our special series, Children of the Recession. And when Tara met Bella, Steve Hartman with a very special Assignment America.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
And good evening. Katie's off tonight. The experts keep telling us the end of this recession is in sight. But for millions of Americans without a job, that is little comfort. The Labor Department said today the unemployment rate jumped another half point in May to 9.4%. What passes for good news in this report is that the number of job losses was the lowest since September. Here's Anthony Mason.
After going from bad to worse, the job numbers are back to being just bad. 345,000 jobs lost in May is still an ugly statistic.
But the light at the end of the tunnel got a little bit brighter.
Monthly job losses peaked in January at 741,000, but the pace of losses has been declining steadily ever since, to less than half that number. Analysts say employers are no longer panicked.
All that we're seeing right now is layoffs abating. Hiring has not picked up. Businesses aren't out there hiring people. They did stop cutting.
More than happy to speak with you.
Since the recession began in December of 2007, the number of unemployed has risen by 7 million people to 14.5 million. And even those who still have jobs are working less. The average work week fell to a record low in May of just over 33 hours.
The Shiraz.
At Washington Square Liquors in New York, owner Diane Neske says with business down 20%, she's had to hold the line on wages and give employees more time off instead.
Unfortunately, we don't have the money to give out any additional pay raises at this point.
As the economy showed signs of improving, the stock market has rallied. The Nasdaq is up 10% over the past 3 weeks. The Dow is up 6% to its highest level since January 7th. But the strength of any recovery could depend on the success of the $787 billion stimulus package, which is expected to kick in full force this summer.
The stimulus is, in fact, economic kindling, and if it doesn't ignite a fire in the economy, then perhaps we'll need to revisit stimulus early next year.
Another stimulus package. Economist Mark Zandi believes we actually could need one. The worst may be over, but no one's certain how strong the recovery will be. Jeff?
All right, Anthony Mason tonight. Anthony, thank you. That 9.4% rate we mentioned is the overall unemployment rate. For teenagers, it is more than double, 22.7%, nearly 6 points higher than it was at the start of the recession. Ben Tracy now on the tough search for a summer job.
That's the line for people coming in.
Teenagers are not known for their patience. Yet more than 1,000 stood in this line for hours for something that used to be a cinch.
You have to really work at it. You have to really want to find a job to do this.
Because the summer job now means more than spending money.
I'm trying to help out my mom. They cut her hours at work. Any little thing I can help with, I'm willing to do.
16-year-old Alex Jefferson needs work fast. Her mom, Wanda, is being laid off in 2 weeks.
She tried to take on my struggles, and she shouldn't have to at that age.
Come on back.
Alex has interviewed for 8 jobs. She's heard a lot about cutbacks.
We aren't going to be able to do that this year.
Her nerves are starting to show.
I can do it.
When it comes to retail, movie theaters, and fast food work, teens are now competing with laid-off adults. Nearly 1.5 million teenagers are now unemployed, a 17-year high, and a 9% jump from just last summer.
Signs like this are hard to find, but experts say there are jobs out there for teens. They may just have to enlarge their network to find one.
They're going to have to work with friends of friends and associates of associates and go to places that no one in the family has maybe looked for work in the past to try and find it.
Alex applied at this LA radio station owned by Stevie Wonder. And she met the boss himself.
Stevie Wonder. This is Alex.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Alex tried out her radio skills
Hello, LA.
and landed an internship.
When you become a DJ, make sure you play all my music.
Definitely.
She also got a job at a company doing office work.
The 9th time is the charm, I guess.
Yes.
The actual work will be a whole lot easier than what it took to get it. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Los Angeles.
13,000 Saturn workers get to keep their jobs for now. General Motors said today it has a tentative deal to sell Saturn to auto racing giant Roger Penske. He plans to keep all of its dealers and will have GM build the cars. Penske says Saturn will make a profit, which it never did as part of GM. Also tonight, it's the end of a Hollywood legend, Max Factor Makeup. Goes back to the earliest days of movie making, but with sales lagging, it will not be marketed in this country after this year, though it will still be sold overseas. Now to an American in Paris. An American president, Barack Obama, arriving at the latest stop on his overseas trip today. He has been joined now by the First Lady and their daughters. The Obamas got in some sightseeing today, including a visit to the Eiffel Tower. Earlier today in Germany, the president made his case for U.S. allies to accept some of the Guantanamo detainees, an idea not very popular in Europe. He also became the first U.S. president to visit the former Buchenwald death camp. Here's Chief White House correspondent Chip Reed.
At the Buchenwald concentration camp, President Obama solemnly toured remnants of the barracks and the crematorium, where about 56,000 people perished at the hands of the Nazis.
More than half a century later, our grief and our outrage over what happened have not diminished. I will not forget what I have seen here today.
The president's guides were German Chancellor Angela Merkel and survivors of this camp, including author and Nobel Peace Prize winner Elie Wiesel. They placed white roses on a stainless steel memorial kept year-round at 98.6 degrees, the temperature of a living human body. Wiesel, seen in this photo, came here as a teenager. His father died in the bunk above him.
He called my name, and I was too afraid to move. All of us were.
After the war, he thought the world had learned a lesson.
Had the world learned, there would have been no Cambodia, and no Rwanda, and no Darfur, and no Bosnia. Will the world ever learn? I think that is why Buchenwald is so important.
The president also has a personal connection here.
I've known about this place since I was a boy, hearing stories about my great-uncle.
Great-uncle Charlie Payne, who helped liberate a subcamp of Buchenwald and was later unable to even speak about what he saw.
It's understandable that someone who witnessed what had taken place here would be in a state of shock.
Famed CBS newsman Edward R. Murrow arrived the day after American troops liberated the camp and filed this historic and scratchy radio report.
There surged around me an evil-smelling horde. Men and boys reached out to touch me. Death had already marked many of them, but they were smiling with their eyes. There were 2 rows of bodies stacked up like cordwood.
The president's visit here is a counterweight to his speech Thursday in Cairo, in which he reached out to the Muslim world. Today in Germany, the president said both sides need to understand that the moment for acting on Middle East peace is now.
I'm confident that if we stick with it, having started early, that we can make some serious progress this year.
From Germany, the president came here to France, and tomorrow will continue commemorating the Allied victory in World War II with a visit to the beaches of Normandy and the American cemetery there on the 65th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. Chip Reed, CBS News, Paris.
Now from memories of World War II to something that reads like a Cold War spy novel. Federal prosecutors said today a husband and wife have been indicted on charges they spied for Cuba for 3 decades. As Justice correspondent Bob Orr reports, the wife worked at a Washington, D.C. bank, the husband at the U.S. State Department, where he had top-secret security clearance.
This was their headquarters in Northwest Washington. From their 6th-floor apartment, the government says, Walter Kendall Myers and his wife Gwendolyn used a shortwave radio and coded messages to communicate with their Cuban handlers. Kendall Myers, a career State Department analyst, went by an alias, Agent 202, perhaps a nod to Washington's area code. His wife was known as Agent 123. and sometimes Agent E-634. They also allegedly handed off secrets in person, using shopping carts at nearby supermarkets to drop sensitive documents. The couple later told an undercover FBI investigator the shopping cart swap was, quote, easy enough to do. The government claims the couple was recruited by Cuban intelligence agents in 1979. And within 6 years, Kendall Myers had earned a top-secret clearance at the U.S. State Department and had access to virtually every piece of sensitive Cuba-related intelligence until he retired in 2007. In just his last year on the job, prosecutors say Kendall Myers viewed more than 200 sensitive or classified intelligence reports. Court documents do not spell out what secrets Kendall Myers passed along, but one Justice Department official said, quote, he saw everything. Kendall Myers told the FBI undercover agent he usually took information home by memory or in notes, saying, quote, I was always pretty careful.
Hemos tenido otras bajo techo.
But at least once the couple met with Cuba's top agent, meeting face-to-face with Fidel Castro in 1995. It was a highlight, Kendall Myers told the FBI, in a career that also earned him, quote, lots of medals from the Cuban government.
According to sources, the couple did not spy for money. Instead, they were political sympathizers for Cuba. Now the FBI is working hard to find out how much damage they may have done. Jeff?
All right, Bob, we're in Washington. Bob, thank you. Up next here on the CBS Evening News, the pain of the recession for children not getting enough to eat. It's a sad fact of life in America. In a country with so much wealth, millions of children are not getting enough to eat. According to government figures, on any given day, nearly 12.5 million kids are at risk of going hungry. And with unemployment rising, the fear is that number will increase as well. Tonight, in partnership with USA Today, Seth Doan continues our series CBS Reports, Children of the Recession.
Moments best forgotten, frozen in time. The exhibit is called Witnesses to Hunger. The message is stunningly simple. That's Imani Sullivan's son, begging for food.
I am a witness to hunger every day.
Because she cannot always afford to feed her kids. Demir is 9 years old.
Tell me about those times that you don't eat.
I cry
Why do you cry?
because I'm hungry.
And that's Marinette Roman's youngest, trying to get out of the house, back when they had one.
The pictures that I took before I became homeless. Give me a second.
Home now is one room in a shelter. At 13, Lewis is losing weight.
Is it something that you can tell your friends, that sometimes you're hungry?
I just keep it to myself.
Why?
I just don't like letting nobody know that I'm hungry.
But letting people know is the point of this exhibit. It was Mariana Chilton's idea to give cameras to 42 lower-income Philadelphia mothers.
It's a way of saying my child is hungry. I struggled, and this is what my child looks like.
Their senator, Bob Casey, brought the women and their photographs to Capitol Hill and keeps his own book of their pictures.
Is there anything that seems removed for you when sitting in Washington looking at this book? You know, it seems like two different worlds in a way.
Oh, it is, sure. You could sit at a hearing for hours. You could read every statistic that would try to tell this story, but there's nothing like a picture and a witness.
Like a picture of Imani's pay stub. She's a full-time janitor, but often has an empty fridge. She photographed that, too.
How is it as a mom to realize that at points you can't really afford to feed your own kids?
Wow, that's a good question. It's heartbreaking.
That's so horrible.
It is for Marinette, too. Besides losing her house last fall, she lost both of her jobs. Already living at the edge, the recession made it worse, much worse.
Horrible. Horrible because I always try to do my best. I always did try to do my best, you know, and it hurts that I had to put my kids in this situation.
Her son Lewis escapes the only way he can.
Sometimes I just go to sleep.
Sleep? That helps? How?
I don't think about it. You just fall asleep.
Mariana Chilton wants Americans to wake up and realize that a lack of nutrition at an early age can stunt both physical and mental growth.
When regular American people think about hunger, they're thinking about a kid that's got a swollen belly and flies in his eyes. That's like the point of no return. How bad does hunger have to be before we pay attention to it?
The Obama administration has pledged to end childhood hunger in America by 2015 and anticipates needing an additional $7 billion for food stamps next year. Amani says every penny of her paycheck goes to rent and utilities, and the $4.14 she receives in food stamps each month does not feed the family.
Come on, Googie. Come on, Googie.
Louis Roman wants to do something for his family.
Louis is 13 years old, but he says he wants a job.
I know.
He wishes he could help.
He always said he wants to help me.
Louis didn't choose this life and is looking for a way out, just like so many other children of the recession. Seth Doan, CBS News, Philadelphia.
In Southern California, the man who started a wildfire that killed 5 firefighters was sentenced today to death. A jury found 38-year-old Raymond Lee Euler guilty of setting a series of wildfires in 2006, including the fatal one east of Los Angeles. Prosecutors believe it's the first time a death sentence has ever been ordered in an arson case of this type. A struggling South Dakota rancher who doesn't even own a phone claimed a $232 million Powerball jackpot today. 23-year-old Neil Wanless bought the winning ticket last week in the town of Winner, South Dakota. He says he'll use the money to help people in need. And in San Antonio, Texas, something you cannot put a price on. A surprise reunion at school as Dad returns from war.
Come here, baby. Come here.
Look at that. Air Force Master Sergeant Joseph Myers had just one wish while he was in Iraq: to finish his tour before his daughter Hannah finished 4th grade. He made it on the next to last day of class. Coming up next year on Assignment America, a story that Disney wanted to tell. Steve Hartman will in just a moment.
Assignment America is sponsored by Cheerios. Good for the heart.
We end tonight with an update on a story that got a lot of positive reaction the first time we brought it to you. It's about Tara and Bella. They have absolutely nothing in common except their incredible friendship. Here's Steve Hartman with Assignment America.
It's the last thing you'd expect to see emerging from the woods of Tennessee. The last 2 things, actually. Which is why I knew the story of Bella and Tara would be big. I just had no idea how big.
Tara and Bella, they have agents now?
It's all your fault.
It is all your fault.
Carol Buckley and Scott Blay run the Elephant Sanctuary outside Nashville.
When that piece aired, we were just bombarded with offers. Books, movies, any number of things.
If you saw the original story, you know how elephants come here from zoos and circuses one by one, but stay here 2 by 2.
Every elephant that comes here searches out someone that she then spends all of her time with.
Of course, it's always another elephant,
Best buds, these two.
with the notable exception
There's no other elephant around here?
of Tara
Just these 2?
and a stray named Bella.
That's hilarious.
They drink together, they sleep together, they play together.
And stay together, no matter what. When Bella got sick last year and had to live in the sanctuary office, guess who stood vigil? For 3 weeks, Tara waited there.
She was concerned about her friend.
And we had no choice but to bring Bella down to see Tara.
The pair showed such devotion, showed such tenderness and trust. It was almost hard to believe. The whole story seemed like a Disney movie to a lot of people, including people at Disney.
Disney called, they actually pitched the movie,
pitched a live-action movie that would star Tara, or another trained elephant. Scott and Carol say they didn't have to think twice. The answer was no.
This goes against the core of who the sanctuary is.
We don't want them to be in those environments where they're dominated and trained and performed for people.
See, here at the sanctuary, they've got this crazy idea that animals, elephants especially, aren't on this planet just to serve us. They honestly believe that some animals are here for the same reasons we are, to love and care for others, whether those others appreciate it or not.
There's so much more to them that you don't need to use them for them to have value. They have value just being who they are.
So, don't look for Tara and Bella at a theater near you. But by all means, do look to them next time you feel like there's just no good in this world. Steve Hartman, CBS News, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
That is the CBS Evening News tonight. Katie's back on Monday. I'm Jeff Glor. I'll see you tomorrow on the Saturday Evening News. Good night.
Wait a second.